Doing, waiting for people to join. Is it chilly by you guys? I know there's like a cold front that has like swept the nation, and that's why I'm in like cashmere hat, cashmere sweater, because it's chilly. A little chillier than usual. But I was the main person complaining that it was hot. So, you get what you ask for. I mean, it is October. And I was like, it's hot as hell. Like, it was like 97 the other day. And I'm like, it's the mid October. Why is it so hot? But anywho, I got somebody in here. Welcome in. Tonight, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of American Horror Story Death Valley. This was the second half of American Horror Story double feature. And I rewatched it, and I finally put some more of this stuff together because, no lie, it was a very good season. Like season 10, great season. But you really have to know what you're looking at to piece it together and to catch some of the stuff. And luckily, I've seen like other movies and other TV shows that can connect some of the concepts and themes. Now, I did have a subscriber who asked me to do a video about mermaids and aliens, and hi, welcome in, and I did cover that. But after watching American Horror Story Death Valley again, I was like able to pick up on some more stuff. So I'm gonna get into that tonight. And like the person, they said they thought I did a good job, and it's like I did like a decode of it, and I mean, I think it's a video worth going back and watching. But again, I'm starting to just piece more stuff. So I have my heater on. I have a space heater in here. So I'm gonna get into that tonight. So Death Valley, I'm gonna go ahead and hop right in. Of course, this is gonna be available for the replay, for my replay crew. Now let's talk about, let me just give a little recap over the season. Season 10, double feature. First half is Red Tide, talks about vampires and the black pill. Then we have the second half, Death Valley, which talks about aliens and like alien abduction and alien interference with the government. When you watch both seasons are talking about conspiracy theories. They lean into the conversation of conspiracy theories. They like low-key confirm a good amount of conspiracy theories. Some conspiracies are left untouched, like what was the real purpose of the cow mutilations in the second half, Death Valley, but it talks about it. It shows that this is something that has happened. It shows that it's a part of alien intervention. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my first few notes. So yes, Death Valley, we see the government's relationship with these aliens and like kind of how that started. And according to the season, it started back with President Eisenhower. Dwight, nicknamed Ike, and his wife Mamie Eisenhower. It starts with them two when Eisenhower signed a treaty with these aliens by force to be able to abduct 5,000 people a year to do experimentation. Because according to the aliens, they're saying, oh yeah, like Earth is polluted. Hey, what's up, Milo? Good to see you. Yes, just got home. See, that's why I be doing these lives late, because I feel like people, like, late is better, because people, again, have lives to live. They get off shit. These days, jobs be wanting to work you till 6 o'clock. Some people get off later. I've been there, I've worked retail where you get off a little later sometimes, and then you gotta commute, and then you gotta eat. Like, it just be a lot. So welcome in. Thank you for being here. It's gonna be a good live. Right, I feel you. Like, you know, I totally get it. So I'm excited to give y'all a good show. I'm excited to do this. Like, I wanted to do this live earlier, but I knew, like, I don't half-ass it. And so I was like, okay, if I do this live, because I know, like, Truth Hurts was wanting me to do it. And I said, if I do this live, like, I really got to know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm going to have to go back, watch the episode, and I'm glad that I did. And I'm going to have to do some research on, like, some of this stuff. And I did that. And, like, I have some notes here to really make sure, you know, I give you guys, like, a good live. Because American Horror Story Death Valley is not, it's deep. And I don't know everything that they're talking about. Like, some of that shit I really got to do more research, or I had to do more research on. So I did it, and I'm here. So welcome everybody. I got more people in, of course, available for the replay. But Milo, I was just talking about, I was just starting from the top of American Horror Story Death Valley. It's the last, like, 3-4 episodes of American Horror Story double feature. Okay, so the season starts off with this lady named Maria. She lives out in the desert somewhere, and she's possessed by, like, a fallen angel. Like, some UFOs come down and they possess her, and she don't be the same since. They, like, murk her husband and everything, and then they use her as a human vessel to do their bidding. And I'm gonna get into all of that. But yes, I was starting to say, like, this whole season is about conspiracy theories. So we also have, like, these 4, it's tied in with, like, the past, what was happening during, like, the 50s and 60s. And then they tie it in with, like, the present. And the present characters are, like, these 4, like, Ivy League college students: Kendall, Jamie, Cal, and Troy. And we're gonna get on them, but they're kind of like non-factors. Like, they don't really matter too much. The aliens matter. They play a role, but not a big role. Not a role that really matters. I think they're just put in there because, like, they were handsome and attractive kids. But so we see, like, the first alien, like, possession, or, like, the first, like, abduction at the beginning of the season, of this half of the season. And again, I was talking about the aliens coming to Dwight Eisenhower. Dwight Eisenhower, they're saying, is when this alien ship popped off, in America at least, with how the aliens approach him. They use Maria, the woman that they possess, they use her as the vessel to approach Eisenhower and the rest of, like, the government officials, the high-ranking officials. And she's like, they're like, why do we need to sign this treaty? Because Maria wants them to sign the treaty, and they're like, why? And she's like, well, because this planet is contaminated. You know, y'all got, like, viruses and shit running around. Like, we gotta clean this shit up. Now, that's the thing about these fallen angels, is they gonna always lie to get what they want. And they do what they want by force. Right. Period. So you are aware of this. Did you see that season? Did you see this season of American Horror Story? I didn't really know too much about the 60s or the 50s, but it's crazy, you know, you mentioning that, because before this show, I didn't know what the hell was going on during that time. I only knew about shit, Marilyn Monroe and them, like, which was, again, kind of, like, more popular in the 60s. Like, all I know about the 60s or anywhere near that time is, like, Marilyn Monroe, JFK, and, like, the boom and, like, advertising and, like, smoking. You know, like, real Mad Men shit. Smoking was real popular back then. But they're giving some explanation as to why we saw the sudden boom. Yeah, I haven't seen no spinoffs because they don't interest me. They don't. The main season is be where the tea is at. But yeah, yeah, you should totally watch. I didn't know anything about again alien sightings and the boom in technology, but this show is giving some type of explanation as to how that happened. So Eisenhower's approach, like strange shit starts happening, like cow mutilations, and then Amelia Earhart, again, she was supposed to be like, missing, dead, whatever. They find her. She's the first test subject who they tried to like incubate with one of these alien babies, and it just really doesn't go well. She gives birth to like this squid baby that's really malevolent, and that is important because we see the squid babies throughout the season, and we also see squid babies in Prometheus. So it kind of dawned on me that is the connection between mermaids and aliens. Like, that finally started to stick because, again, when we see, well, first of all, mermaids are hybrids anyway, right? Hybrid species. The bottom half of their body is like a fish, and the top half is human. So some kind of genetic splicing was going on. But so that's already like a humanoid hybrid creature. But what I didn't realize was, again, like even like these like squids and like these octopus style things, like we saw that on Prometheus, where when the scientist, what, Dr. Shaw, when she gives birth after her man ends up getting like that black goo on him, the baby becomes alien, like from Alien versus Predator. It's like these squid legs. And I'm like, oh, that's what's going on here. Like, you have like this fallen angel species, and then you have like these like hybrid like offspring that have like this water connection, that, you know what I mean? But it's because like these fallen angels come from up underwater themselves. Like, that's what this is explaining. Is if you don't pay attention, you won't realize like the children come out that way unless they have a specific kind of DNA from the human parent that can like try to overpower that, which is what we're gonna get on later. Because they're trying to show you that these alien beings come from the water, the marine kingdom. That's what this shit really about. And that started to dawn on me. So the aliens are like, oh yeah, like, your planet fucked up. We need to get some bodies to help our planet and our species and yours, when that's not really the plan in the end. So they threaten to kill Mamie, Eisenhower's wife, so he signs the treaty. JFK finds out about the treaty while he's in office, and he pillow talking with Marilyn Monroe. They saying that that's why Marilyn Monroe was taken out, because she knew about all of the like fallen angel shit. She knew about like the alien shit. That's what they saying. And they saying that they murked JFK because he was about to go public with the shit that was in the treaty. And, now I don't know about all of that. I think there's some truth to that, but I know there is some truth. Let's talk about it, because if you go back and you listen to JFK's inauguration speech, he alludes to secret societies, and he clearly was against it. Like, he didn't really want nothing to do with it. And that's why they, unalived him shortly after he gave that inauguration speech, because they was like, nah, like, you're not about to expose us. But that's what they're saying. JFK made a small like appearance, him and Marilyn Monroe, because again they knew about it and they just wanted to kind of confirm why JFK passed, why Marilyn Monroe passed. I mean, they gotta make it interesting for TV, because people these days got the attention span of, what I'm saying, goldfish. Now, I did do some research onto cattle mutilation. Because when the 4 college students, when they go on like a trip out to the desert, and they come across, hey, what's poppin', Dion? Good to see you. When the 4 college kids, we still at the beginning, so you haven't really missed much. Of course, replay will be up shortly after. When the 4 college kids go to the desert, right, they come across cows that are mutilated. And again, I looked that up, and that has been seen a lot. And like mainly out west, like they spotted it here in Texas, they spotted it in like New Mexico, like mainly in like the desertous, like western part of the US, you can find cow mutilations. And when I found out, okay, like this is real, but why are they doing it? Some people say that they're doing this for, again, an extraterrestrial hybridization program, which I believe. And some people say it's like they do it, like the aliens do it for cloning, which I also believe. But clearly, when they find these cows mutilated, like they usually are like missing organs and shit. And like they have no blood in them. They're like perfectly cut, like perfect incisions. And they never find like any like footprints or like stuff like that. So it's clear that like something's coming down from up above, and they're using like a higher level of technology to mutilate these animals in such a clean and like professional, way. So that's something that I wanted to touch on briefly. Okay. Yeah, so let me get on what Maria told Eisenhower to get him to sign real quick. Maria says, our Earth is contaminated with viruses, and they need to create something that's part alien, part human for us and them. She says they are facing extinction. They are facing extinction. And then they do, and then they start doing these again, abductions without consent. They were doing them from the beginning without consent, but then in order to like do it to the level that they want to do it to, hey, what's Perk? Hey, what's up? Good, it's gonna be a good episode tonight, y'all. I'm excited. I did my research to bring. I'm talking about, again, American Horror Story. I just took notes. These are notes, and then I started putting some more stuff together. So that's the deception, is again, oh, this planet got viruses on it. We got to create something part you, part us. That is the trick. And that's what I started to realize, like I was telling the Milo, is the trick is we got to come up with something that's part human, part alien. And basically what they're talking about really is Nephilim, which they've done that all over the world. But they just wanted to bring it to America. Because that shit started in Egypt. That's why when you look at like hieroglyphs and you see like older pictures of Egyptians, like sometimes they have like elongated skulls and like they're really huge. That's because they're Nephilim. They're hybrids mixed with stuff. Okay. Let me see where I want to pick up. I wanted to touch on Area 51 real quick because Area 51 plays a big role in this season. Area 51 in real life is located out in Nevada. But on this season, we see that it's like an area where there's like time doesn't exist. So it's like a portal, or like another dimension. And again, people associate Area 51 with UFOs. And when people go out there, again, because time doesn't exist, they stop aging and they make a joke like, oh yeah, Steve Jobs is out there. Which, again, there could be some truth to that. Because it's like a place where people like, oh, I don't want to die. I want to live forever. So they just go to Area 51 and they just sit there until they start to regret that, oh shit, like I really don't want to live forever. But we see that happen. So again, confirming that Area 51 really is affiliated with the government and like all kinds of like freaky ass government programs. But what was really going on out there is they were running this like hybridization program with like the humans. it was a place where they were like gathering people and constantly like getting them pregnant, hoping for a specimen that could repopulate their planet. Now, the gag is these aliens told, like, the aliens ran that bitch. The aliens wasn't locked up. The humans were locked up. The aliens were the ones running that hoe, like, through and through. But what was going on was, again, part of the treaty, they was like, yeah, this could take 50 years. This could take generations and generations to get the right specimen. Hold on, put y'all on mute real quick. Okay. So that's why like it kind of took them a long time, because they had a whole war. Like, they were explaining that that's why they had the Vietnam War, was to hide the fact that so many Americans were going missing. And like Richard Nixon, he was like, why, is this going on? Like, he was pissed. And then like the cyborg, Valiant Thor, he was like, we told y'all this could take, years for us to get the perfect like DNA that they were looking for. Now, Valiant Thor was a cyborg, looked like a human, but really a bot in the inside, which again, them confirming that cyborgs, aliens, hybrids, and reptiles really do exist, really do walk among us. I may have told you guys, I think Joe Biden low-key is a cyborg. His ass ain't all the way right. They also confirmed tunnels underneath the White House, because Eisenhower was complaining, like, I could hear people screaming, like, through the vents, because underneath the White House was like a whole like testing facility for, again, like these babies, and people getting tortured, people getting murked, having all of these like weird ass kids. And they had like a bunch of incubators, like a bunch of like tubes with babies and humans in them, like freaky shit. So confirming some of those conspiracy theories. Now I'm gonna get on Theta. Theta is one of like, she's a hybrid species or hybrid person herself. She's half human, half some alien species, probably half gray from the way like her eyes look. And Theta is really important, because I'm gonna connect Death Valley to Red Tide, because they're two separate seasons and it's hard to see how they connect. You really have to be in tune to connect, because when this season first came out, people were like trying to figure out, how do these seasons have anything to do with each other? And like for me at least, I was like, I know they connect some way, but it was hard for me to see like, how do they come together? Now I'm seeing how they come together. So I'm going to break that down. Just ride with me. So Theta, also remember, Theta is the Greek alphabet. I think Theta is the T. Interesting, right? She's an alien hybrid herself. When asked by Kendall is Kaya Gerber, aka Cynthia Crawford's daughter, who was one of the like college kids, because they get abducted and they get pregnant. That's kind of how they end up coming into this. When they go out to the desert, they end up getting abducted, getting pregnant, and then going to Area 51. When they first get there, Kendall asked Theta, like, are you one of the things that got us pregnant? And Theta says, no, I'm something else. So again, she's not necessarily a gray alien. That's the species of fallen angel or alien that we see, like those small little gray men with the big eyes and the big heads that Aleister Crowley drew a picture of. Like she's part one of them, but she's also like part human. She says, no, I'm something else. And says, who said anything about saving Earth? So again, she's like, they don't give a fuck about Earth or human beings. Now I'm gonna start connecting people. So that's important for Theta. I'm trying to just follow along with the notes. Let's talk about Calico. Before I'm gonna get into like my realization at the end of the notes, I'm about to go ahead and just roll through. I've already touched on some of this stuff. Let's talk about Calico. Calico is the blonde white woman who is at Area 51. She's been there for a long time, like decades. I think Calico is a beta sex kitten. She used to be a prostitute back in the day. She says this. She used to be a waitress who used to sell ass on the side. The blonde hair and her lack of empathy and the prostitute past gives, she's probably under beta sex kitten mind control. Because she's very void of emotion when it comes to what the aliens are doing. She knows about it. She's kind of just like accepted her fate, and she just doesn't care. Like when she knows all the evil shit that's going on, and she's just like, we just gotta go along with it, you know, we can't really do anything. And it's just like, girl, babies are getting murked, and you know what I mean? Like, you've been here for decades, bitch. Like, what the fuck? You should have cracked up and lost your mind by now. But again, she's probably a beta sex kitten slave. And it's like, you gotta watch out, because American Horror Story be showing you shit. Like, they be showing you beta sex kittens, but it just goes to show that the programming is so smooth. If you don't know what it is, you won't pick up on it. You know what I mean? It's like I was telling y'all in American Horror Story Delicate. Like, if you don't realize the main character, Anna Alcott, was a beta sex kitten slave. That's part of why, you know what I'm saying, some of the shit, like, it just seemed like she was under some MK Ultra. And then it was revealed that Dexter's mom was a beta sex kitten slave. So see what I'm saying? It's like, if you're not awake to the programming, like, and they always have blonde hair, but if you don't know, you would just think it's another white chick with blonde hair, but it's not. Okay. I was also saying that the abduction of children, we see that in a lot of this. Like when they had a radio program that was playing at the White House, and they were like, a 9-year-old girl went missing, and they knew that it was an alien abduction. The children going missing shows the harvest of adrenochrome. You know, like, which again, the aliens weren't just taking fully grown adults to experiment on. They were taking fully grown adults, and they're taking kids for adrenochrome purposes. That's part of the connection too with Red Tide, but we get in there because I'm gonna come full circle. Okay. We pretty much there. But before, yeah, I'm at the end. I'm about to say, I'm looking at these notes. We get in there. Oh yes, they confirmed that Henry Ford is a reptilian. The reptilian, he signed a treaty with the Greys, with Valiant Thor in them. Because Valiant Thor and Theta work for the Greys. What's up, Claudio? I think you might be trolling, but anywho, we go back and we see that the Henry Ford signs a deal with the gray people. So again, showing that again, these, like I was telling y'all, the insectilians work with the reptiles too. They haven't shown us that outwardly yet, but or like covertly, but there's different species of these fallen angels who work together. This confirms that. And so the reptilians have a plan to destroy, or to help destroy humanity too. Okay, so we see that. Let me see where I wanted to go. Mamie, stupid ass. Mamie ends up in Area 51. This is the hilarious part when the shit backfires on her. Mamie ends up in Area 51 by choice. She says she doesn't want to age. She wants to live forever. So Valiant Thor takes her to Area 51. She likes being there until she doesn't. She starts to get bored. She doesn't want to be there no more. Because, of course, living forever, yes, absolutely, Milo. Living forever is a scam. I was telling y'all before, all vampires be miserable as fuck because once you hear past a certain time, you be like, yo, this shit dead, bro. So she starts to regret it. She gets wind that Kaya Gerber, or Kendall, gives birth to the perfect specimen. And she starts to realize, like, the aliens had a different plan all along. So she runs up to Valiant Thor. I thought she ran up to Theta. She goes to Theta, but that's going to happen after she talks to Valiant. She goes up to him and she's like, you know, I didn't know this was like all a plan to like destroy humanity, whatever. Like she going back and forth with him. I have the lines. She's like, oh yeah, Valiant is like, we need to clone the breeder, Kendall, Kaya Gerber. We need to clone her so that we can populate the planet faster, which is again confirming that these clones be having kids and shit. We've talked about clones before, clones all over the place. Yeah, they be having children. So they called her a breeder. They don't have no respect for this bitch. They're like, we gotta clone her so she can have more kids and like populate this planet faster. So let's see. Mamie is like, but wait, the world already populated. Like, what do you mean? And you know, she's like, I thought we needed to not go extinct. And he's like, which is why we need to have a world of our own without humans. Because he tells her, like, what would you do if you had a nice garden, but you had a gardener that kept fucking everything up? And she was like, well, I would fire the gardener. And he was like, okay, well, Earth is the garden. Humans are the gardener. We firing y'all. And, you know, she fucked up. She wasn't expecting that. And Mamie realizes again, Ike was right about them aliens. They really not people to play with. He tells her, look, Valiant tells her, some of y'all who have helped us, y'all will get to stay, but everybody else gonna have to get the fuck on. Like, they're gonna end them. They're about to end humanity, with the exception of a few. And that's the gag. Because that's pretty much sums up this season. They told the humans from the start, look, our planet is nearing extinction. We got problems. We need to repopulate our planet. But they lied and told Eisenhower, well, your planet got viruses and shit on it, so we need to merge the two, aka merge your DNA, so like we can help your shit and y'all can help us. That was never the real plan. The plan was always, we about to use y'all DNA, take y'all planet, and then get y'all the fuck out of here because y'all suck. Because even Theta was saying, you know, bitch, we hate humanity. Like, y'all are horrible. Y'all don't even want to open the door for each other. Y'all horrible people. Like, y'all destroy everything. Y'all fuck everything up. Like, fuck y'all. You know, they don't fuck with us, period. And I don't blame them. Humanity is real fucking ratchet. So They just feel like we pests and parasites. So they like, we about to just take y'all shit and get y'all the fuck on. And we're gonna take it over and we're gonna populate it with our people. Because they were saying like they got problems on their planet, wherever they're coming from, aka the water. They're living in damnation, okay? That's what they're talking about. They want you to think that they're coming from some place in outer space. They're not coming from some place in outer space. They're coming from under the fucking water. They live in darkness and damnation. Now, there are portals and like different dimensions underwater. There are. But they want to live on land in the light. They want, everybody that's going through some shit, they want to trade places with people who not going through it. And that's what we see every time with these water spirits. Peep that shit on Little Mermaid. Okay, Ariel is a hybrid. Ariel is living in damnation. She's living underwater. Her only dream is to live on land, which is why she was willing, yes, damnation, like to be damned, to be forsaken. There's a reason why, because think about it, right? Things that are damned, forsaken, vampires, water creatures, very few water creatures can live on land too. And most of the time, if they can be on land, they can't be on land long. Like, just peep that. Like, octopus can walk around on land. There are videos of it. Crabs can walk around on land. There are snakes that can live on land and live in the water. But most of the time, they can't be out long. They have to, at some point, like, get back in the water. But things that are damned to the water usually do want to be on land, okay? But they cannot. They have to live where the fuck they live. Just like people, just like if you live on land, yeah, you might be able to go out to the water for some time, but you can't live there. Like, there's a separation. That's why they say, as above, so below. There is a separation between the two. And if you pay attention, that's what they're even talking about in the poster for Red Tide. It's like alien on top, like siren on the bottom, showing the separation of the worlds. But they talk about how they're gonna put it together, and that's what I'm showing. That's what I'm talking to you guys about. So Ariel again wants to live on land so bad and wants to have legs so bad. She's willing to give up her voice, which is her gift, because she doesn't really want her fate that she's dealt. And it's the same thing with these aliens. They don't really want to live in darkness. Like, it's dark under there. Y'all notice sunlight only reaches to the top of the water. Other than that, the further down you go, the darker and the colder it gets. I was mentioning this even in my mermaids and aliens video. In the book Dante's Inferno, the Divine Comedy, the last layer of hell is dark and cold. It's not hot, it's cold. Because the further down the water you go, the colder again it gets. The further away from God's light. The sun is God's light. Warmth, life, grass, growth, all of that. Vitamin D, all of that. So when you get far away from that, is the further into damnation you go. What's up, Mike? And that's why things of the night, things that are damned, forsaken, that's why they worship the moon, because that's their new version of the sun. They cannot be in the sun, so they have to rely on light from the moon. That's where that moon worship comes from. That's why we hear about vampires out at nighttime and the moon is here and the werewolves, blah, blah, blah. Because they cannot thrive in the sun. The moon is all that they have. Let's start to think and piece this together, okay? So their plan, they want to use humans to be able to repopulate with their own species and wipe humans off their own land. And then they can have our planet and then they can do what they want to do. So that's what this is all about. Mamie, not liking what she's hearing, goes over to Theta and tells Theta, like, they plan on doing this and that. And Theta is like, oh, okay, who said anything about ending humanity and ending Earth and all this other shit? Mamie gets beside herself, trying to stop the plan. It took them 60 years to get the perfect specimen. Mamie thinks that she's going to kill the perfect specimen, the little baby, to try to stop the plan. And naturally, Theta beheads her ass. Mamie just be doing too much. Like, I didn't like her character. She's not made for you to like. She's your typical narcissistic, entitled, get beside herself Karen, She just was like, everywhere she went, do you know who I am? And just thinking everybody's supposed to kiss her ass because she's a former first lady. It's like, bitch, entitled old white bitches come a dime a dozen. Like, you nobody special, ho. Like, we meet bitches like you down to the fucking Walgreens, down to the Target, you know what I mean? Down to the mall, down to the fucking fast casual restaurant, any day of the week. You are nobody special, ho. Mamie gets like she loses her fucking mind, and Theta beheads her stupid ass because it's like, you think Theta about to let you against 60 fucking years of murking babies? You think she about to let you kill the perfect one? Bitch, you lost it. Like, Mamie's stupid for that shit. But I'm glad somebody put her out of her misery. Okay, let's get on what's really going on here. So in the first half, we had characters that made it onto the second half. Those three characters are Calico, the person who I suspect of being a beta sex kitten, and the chemist, and Mamie. Now, on the first half, on Red Tide, Mamie was the agent who was working with Harry, and Mamie was her name was Ursula. Peep that. Little Mermaid, right? Ursula, an octopus, a sea witch, malevolent being. Her name was Ursula. No, that's Calico. Calico used to be Ursula. Mamie used to be tuberculosis Karen. Isn't that funny? She used to be a Karen, and then she ends up still on that same bullshit. Now, on the first half, Karen wasn't a Karen. She was like, a drug addict white chick. But on the second half, she comes back like a wild ass entitled Karen. But here's the gag. Karen takes the black pill. She doesn't really want to. She kind of like has to. She takes the black pill and decides she doesn't really want that life. She slits her wrist and she goes into the water. And then we see her on the other side, you know what I mean, as Mamie Eisenhower. So see, water, portal to other dimensions. And time down there is different. That's why we hear about like maritime law, because time underwater is different. The laws underwater are different. There's a marine kingdom, whole different world. So Mamie used to be tuberculosis Karen, and the chemist is now Theta. Now, what's really funny about the chemist is played by a transformer, a transgender person. The chemist is the one who creates the black pill and starts experimenting with it on humans. And then on the second half, she's Theta, a hybrid who like runs this like program to create alien hybrid babies. So see what I'm saying? Like, when it started to click to me today, that is how this is connecting. Now, with the chemist too, if you go back in Red Tide, on the chemist's front door, there's a mermaid door knocker. See? And then in like Red Tide was held in Provincetown, Massachusetts. So that was a town off the coast. Okay. And so there was like a lot of, again, malevolent activity going on. A lot of bodies would wash up on shore. You know how coastal towns are. Like, people love to drop bodies in water. And I think that that allows some of their spirits to like get released into the water, because the water is a wasteland. Because like, even like after the flood, like a lot of like, that's how, again, God got rid of like the Nephilim walking the earth. He had a flood, and then they went into the water. And again, according to science, what matter, energy can't be destroyed. So now they're damned and forsaken into the water, which is why we see what we see with some of these, again, malevolent beings living in the marine kingdom. So I'm starting to notice the connection. Um Calico, aka Ursula, again, no emotions in this half. Didn't have a lot of emotions in the first half. She was like all too happy to get everybody hooked on the black pill, you know? So see what I'm saying? Like, she kind of been the same chick, like real business, no emotions. Now, when you look at the promo art for American Horror Story Double Feature, there's a photo of the alien and the siren like kissing with like a black pill in between them. And that's the connection. That's showing literally this black pill is how these two are connected. When I was talking about Prometheus before, and when you watch Red Tide, the black pill, what I believe, is really in there because Theta in Austin, well, the chemist in Austin on the first half, never confirm what's in the black pill. They never talk about it. But what's really going on is, I think that that's graphene, because that's talked about. When you start to study this black goo shows up in different movies and TV shows. And it's thought to be graphene. Graphene is something that kind of like sticks to you. And it changes your DNA. Because again, even in Prometheus, what made a lot of that pop off was like this black goo that was found in like a wet cave. And it ended up getting on somebody, and then like it seeps in and it changes DNA. So that's what's happening here. What I'm seeing is, in the connection of mermaids and sirens and aliens, the mermaids are, aka sirens, and are hybrids. The goal, though, like what they were showing, is to find humans with particular types of DNA that when they mix with aliens, the children will come out looking like a human on the surface, so they can walk among humans and not scare humans, but are like alien on the inside, you know, like a splice. That's what they're talking about. So the black pill was doing that to people. I think what they were showing, again, that's how the biggest, like, oh shit, you know, epiphany was with Theta and the chemist, how those two characters connect. Because on one half, Theta was the one organizing the birth of the babies and looking for the DNA and, you know, setting up the incubation stuff. And then on one half, she was the one making the black pills. So she's responsible in both seasons, or both half of this season, for, again, creating these new specimens. And even on, here's the thing, even on Red Tide, the chemist said that, oh, she used to work for the military. So see, she used to work for the government. And on the second half, she works with the government. So it's just, you got to really pay attention and notice it. They are looking for stuff. They are. That's why I've never sent my DNA in. People always ask me, like, what are you mixed with? Are you Ethiopian? Are you from East Africa? I get that all the time. People come up to me speaking Arabic and Amharic all the time. I will never send my DNA in, ever. Ever. Because I know that they're doing something freaky. So, I started to connect that. And so it seems like the chemist, again, had evolved to a point where she realized, okay, with this black pill, I'm gonna get this black pill so sophisticated that it can turn people who are already human, who are already born and who are already older. You know, we can get the technology because that's all that this graphene is, this black goo, this black pill. All it is a technology. And again, like I was talking about in my mermaids and sirens video, squids and octopuses or octopi squirt out black ink. So it's a form of technology. And again, when you see movies like Alien versus Predator, Prometheus, American Horror Story, the children kind of come out like squid like, which is a representation of this is how hybrids look. When you start to mix that DNA, it starts to create these like several different leg, like just weird looking creatures. You know, these squid, humanoid, weird things that are again malevolent as fuck. And that's mainly from their um, alien side. But the black pill is able to turn people into vampires again, and they start to have this thirst for adrenochrome and blood, and they start to become again malevolent, narcissistic, egotistical, self-absorbed, real assholes. People really don't talk about it too much with the octopus ink. They don't, but I've been noticed that. But people take these black pills, and what happens to them? It gives them like all of this creativity and all of this, you know, unless you don't really have any real talent. If you don't have any real talent, you just become a bald, a bald-headed has-been. That's bitter, and but you still have this thirst for blood. So again, it could turn you either way, just depending on your DNA, because it can have a certain reaction, which goes to show either you have it or you don't. If you the talent is a gift, and if you don't have the talent, the black pill works against you. If you do have the talent, low key, by the time Hollywood get through with you, they gonna work against your ass, but it definitely will get you in the door. But you know why? Because by that point, you've become one of them, which goes to show that that's what the whole first season was about, was showing people, unless you take this black pill, you will not make it. Because they had people like tuberculosis Karen and this guy played by Macaulay Culkin. I forgot his name. His name was Mickey. Mickey and TB Karen were very talented, but they hadn't taken the black pill yet. So they were continuing to live in poverty and go overlooked. And you know what I mean? Like even the author that they were showing, her name was like Belle, something like that, like Belle something. Very talented. She was always talented, even before she got famous. She was a, you know, author who was working hard writing, but just overlooked. Books wasn't really selling. People weren't really interested in her work. We saw that with Austin's character, played by that dude Evan somebody. Um, Talented actor, like talented guy, but just was overlooked, wasn't successful yet. Nobody got popping, nobody got on, nobody reached success until they took the black pill. And that was them trying to tell you, you can have all the talent that you want to have. Evan Peters, thank you, Milo. Because I never would have, I never would have, it never would have came to me. And I can't get off right now and look stuff up. But they were trying to show that you can have all the talent that you want to have. You need to become something else. You need to transform. You need to change your DNA, aka take the black pill, drink the gold juice, start, you need to get on this program in order to see any kind of worldly success, because again, Satan is the god of this world, and you have to play by his rules and play by his game, and you must be initiated. You could, it's not a play fair game. Now, one thing I will tell you that I know is not necessarily all the way true is they got plenty of people who don't have talent. They're just chosen, like Glorilla. I don't think Glorilla has any talent, but Glorilla is chosen. So they're gonna make her successful. But you can tell that Glorilla has been initiated. People have thought about that. Once you get into this game, again, you start going to these parties, these spirit cooking rituals, these behind the scene freak off, these after parties, this and that, these Mike Rubin all white parties. Once you start going to these parties, there's more being served than just liquor and coke. Like when they talk about, oh, these pills, they got a lot of pills going around. Because hey, truth hurts. What's up? You gonna have to watch the replay. We getting into the deep part, but it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. But yes, like when you start to go to some of these parties, there's more going on than what you know, and a lot of it is spirit cooking, and again, the sacrifice of young people, and through multiple ways, like a lot of times through consumption, because these people are no longer all the way human. They're vampires. That's what they were trying to show on Red Tide, is again, once these people make it to a certain level, they are, I think Glow was born into it. If you start to realize, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta pay attention. I'm gonna get on her real quick. But Glorilla was born into it, in my opinion, because I've just noticed some things with her that kind of give away that she's born into that shit, which most people are. Most people are born into it, and they're plants. But that's what Red Tide was trying to confirm, that these people are vampires. Everybody who's, famous in entertainment, they're vampires. They're in that spot because they've taken the black pill. Again, they may have always had talent or whatever, but they took the pill, and that helped them take their shit to the next level. That's what they were trying to tell you. So it definitely made it very clear. If you have talent and you're not trying to get into this, like you gonna be where you at. Let's get on Glorilla real quick. Okay, if you guys don't pay attention, Glorilla's name is Gloria Hallelujah. That makes me side-eye her. It just does. A lot of people connected to the church are into Freemasonry. I'm just saying. That's why you see so much scandal and so much like fuckery in churches, because a lot of those people are being blasphemous, the highest level of blasphemy, because they're working under the name of God and Jesus, but they're doing devil's work. We see it every day. Her name is Gloria Hallelujah, and she decides to go be a rapper, rapping about coochie and niggas and what, just worldly shit. You know what I mean? Rapping about worldly shit with a name like Gloria Hallelujah. I think she was saying she's also like her parents have like 8 kids. I think they're Jehovah's Witnesses, like just some weird shit. Like Glorilla got a weird, yeah. Something about her is strange. And they got pictures of her when she's young with somebody doing like the 6 over her eyes. So I'm just like, yeah, your ass probably, you know what I'm saying, been in this shit for a long time. Like most people are. Most people been in this shit for their whole life, bro. Like that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like y'all gotta realize a lot of these people, their parents was in it. They don't know anything else. Like Beyonce, her mom was in this shit. Her mom, you know what I'm saying? She come from a long line of like people who in this. That's what they were trying to tell y'all in American Horror Story Delicate. That's what they were trying to say in that season. How like it was like this shit starts at a young age. Like with again, people coming from generations and generations and generations, like they born into it for so long. Like this shit be so embedded in a bloodline, in a DNA, you know, that again, even if they try to escape, they can't because like Truth Hurst just said, your whole bloodline is in this shit. So even when you try to like get away from it, you can't because you were promised. Like that's how it works. Like you're somebody from like 2, 3 generations ago promised y'all because that's how this shit works. Like you want riches and fame and wealth. It doesn't just come with you. Like the more you want, the more you have to give. And children are gifts. So then you start giving up your bloodline, DNA. You start offering that over because then that's more opportunity for these fallen angels to corrupt the new generation and turn them into what they want to turn them into and do with them what they want to do with them. Like that's what this is all about. This DNA corruption, DNA encryption, the taking over of DNA. So that's how the black pill, right? That's how the black pill connects this. The black pill is the intelligence that comes from the aliens to create the vampires, this like hybrid. Because again, once the people take the black pill, they are different. They're not the same. They mess with that pill messes with your DNA and turns you into a hybrid, turns you into a vampire. Sirens are flesh eaters, just like vampires. Vampires are usually known to live on land. Sirens are usually known to live in the water. The only real difference is the vampire is a better DNA version of them because they have legs and can live on land. The siren is a not a good version. I would say like the first iPhone versus the iPhone 13, you know, or versus like a newer version, like a more updated version. But they still come from, they're still alien hybrids, you know. So I'm starting to notice that connection. Like that's the difference. Different versions of a hybrid species. Still flesh eaters, malevolent, cunning, manipulative, lying, all of that. Because that's how aliens are. Fallen angels are. That's that fallen angel DNA. But again, it takes years to get DNA to where you want it to be. And with the advancement of technology, they can skip over some of the incubation process and just put that stuff in a pill. And you take the pill and it converts the people. It converts them over to the dark side, changes the DNA instantly. And now you have somebody going from a human to a vampire or a human to a pale person. So that's what I really started to notice. Like, it really clicked for me today, and I'm glad I rewatched it so I could come to you guys, because again, I wasn't gonna come to you till I did rewatch it, so I could really give you guys a good show. But I hope that that explains some things and kind of broke down what this is all about. So, you guys, I'm going to bed. I probably sound tired because I am tired. Had a busy, long day. Been working on my personal life and my YouTube. I appreciate everybody who's here. I opened up my Venmo for donations. I want to thank everybody. I'm getting closer and closer and closer to monetization. I appreciate you guys greatly, so much. Thank you, Truth Hurts. If you guys have suggestions, please request suggestions, anything, drop in the comments somewhere and I will fulfill them. But I'm glad to be able to get this out because, again, I know Truth Hurts. You wanted this video and I wanted to make it happen. I wanted to rewatch this too so I could really understand what was going on. And this time it just clicked for me. And I'm glad that I was able to come to you guys with something that I felt confident in and that I finally understand. I'm going to go ahead and get this ready for the replay. And again, I will talk to you guys on the next live. I'm probably going to go live tomorrow night to kind of go over. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and put it up. I probably will come tonight or tomorrow night to kind of just like cover like pop culture stuff. I was going to talk about the Carter Kingdom, of course, on its crumble, because I posted a video about the motherfucking witchy ass candles from Beyonce, them weird ass candles. So I'll probably just do like a pop culture entertainment live tomorrow. But yes, I was excited to do this, rewatched episodes, wrote down notes, and I finally started to see some things, and I was like, that is how this works. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this up. You guys have a great night. Donate to the channel if you want. Leave suggestions if you want. I will hit y'all in the next one. Bye. Thank you guys for coming.